to answer a question that a lot of second prof, first prof students have been asking me ever since they have seen the proposal about how the next will be conducted. Now, what I will tell you today is that what should you be doing in second prof or in first year, and what is DAMS planning now for second year students, and how we are modulating our course for second year students. The course that we conduct for our second year students is called as pre-foundation. Okay, and the course that we conduct for first year students is called as first step. Now, why and how we are modulating the course for this prof, and I'll give you an idea, which is what we actually specialize in. We specialize in making a strategy. As soon as we see the marks distribution of a paper, we are able to visualize the strategy which will work out the best for you. Let me show you the proposed structure for the exam right now. So this is how the proposed pattern for next one is. This paper will have 3 separate papers on 3 days. Day 1 will be medicine and allied, 3 hours, 120 questions, pediatrics 60 questions. Day 2 will be surgery and allied, 120, ENT 60 questions, post lunch session, obs and gynae and allied 120, ophthalmology 60. Now what do we mean by allied here? Allied means things like skin, anesthesia, radiology, psychiatry, orthopedics. They will fall into the allied categories. And immediately you will ask me, sir, what about basic sciences? In every paper, 10% of the questions will be based on basic sciences or applied aspects of basic sciences, which will actually become the rank determiners. I'm sure you will be able to see that most people, when they look at it, they will miss out on basic sciences, and the toppers will make it strong, and basic sciences will become the rank determiners. What about PSM? 10% of the questions in each paper will be based on preventive and public health. So that means PSM also plays a good chunk of questions in this paper. So if I now put it in a nutshell, this paper is going to have 540 questions. Okay, 540 questions with around 54 questions from basic sciences. The questions will be more than this because there will be questions on infectious diseases, drugs, on hematological malignancies, solid neoplasms, so syndromes. There are possibility that basic sciences will get a more representation than this. So what should we be doing at this point? To understand what should you be doing, you need to know the proposed question pattern. This exam is not going to be a factual recall based paper any longer. This exam is proposed to be 60% questions based on problem solving. When they say problem solving, they mean clinical vignette style of questions. 30% questions will require comprehension, analysis, and only 10% questions will be purely recall based. This is the proposed pattern. So that means when you are studying with us in the second prof right now, your goal has to be understanding and how to apply that understanding into a clinical scenario. Please, be away from all the old pattern guidebooks and, all the old pattern study material where they will talk about most common cause of this is least common cause of this. Let's not go towards the older papers and older 10-year papers that you are used to looking at. We are now going to look at more towards concepts, understanding, and we will try more and more to apply what we know into clinical scenarios. And how do we, propose to change for second prof, and how the exam would actually change? Now I want you to look at this question. This is a pure one-liner, median nerve supplies. You have 4 choices, you have to pick up your answer here. On the other hand, when they go to the applied anatomy, you will have a question starting with a patient, 34-year-old male college athlete, has a history of this and torn structure implicated by this. So you have to actually look at the clinical scenario, apply your basic sciences, and get to the answer here. So this requires more comprehension, more analysis. It's no longer the one-liner kind of paper that we are all used to in the routine exams. But I'm sure many of you would have heard of it. NEET PG 2020 already had such kind of questions. NEET PG 2021 is also likely to be more in the clinical pattern. So if you are a second prof student, first prof student already, you are now looking at more application based questions, not only one-liners. So what we have changed this year in our second prof classes is, this year what we are now doing is, we are teaching you the applied aspect of all these 7 subjects, which will at least contribute to 54 questions, probably more. But not only that, now in our second prof classes, we have started with ENT and ophthalmology as well. So that my student should have an edge. My student should have an edge that he is actually doing 1/3 of his preparation in second year itself. Because I have added two high yield topics of ENT and ophtha in my second prof teaching itself. Now what will happen is, when you come to a DAMS classroom, when you go back to your home on the eMedicos app, you will get access to something called as DAMS video library. This is how the video library would look like, and it is actual lecture which has been recorded, and you will have topic wise lectures in your library where you can actually re-listen to something which you could not understand. You can actually access that topic. If you miss out on something in the class, you have a 800 odd topics video library with you in the DVL section. Not only that, you also have something which is very unique. Now today is a world where you need somebody to guide you how to read theory also, because we need to apply concepts in the exam. So you will be given a theory book with your material called as CRS, but this CRS will come with a talking companion. Okay, I'll show you how it feels like. This is how the CRS will be there, and there will be a video on each chapter where a teacher will be speaking and will be showing you the important tables, marking it for you, so that when you hear this with your headphones, you will have clarity on what to read in theory, and you will get that extra edge that other people would not have, because you are now learning by the teacher. So you have two kind of video accesses in your course. One video access which is textbook video access on the CRS, this we call as talking CRS, and one video access you will have which is the DAMS video library. This will help you to round up your course. You know, you are attending a live lecture with the teacher, understanding in the class. 80% of the learning in the next pattern of exams will happen in classrooms. You have to be mindfully there in a classroom, interact with teachers, ask doubts, find out, and that is what happens in all the DAMS centers. So after that, you have such beautiful support systems with you like talking CRS and video library. Not only that, we have further improved our question bank. Now in DAMS question bank, you will see a new update saying clinical vignettes. Now with this advent of this clinical vignette kind of questions, image based questions, video based questions, what we are trying to do now is we are trying to add more and more integrated question also. So you will have in your question banks subject wise question banks, anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, medicine, surgery, but then you will have clinical vignettes which will have integrate multiple subjects for you. First episode of the clinical vignettes has already been loaded on your app, and we will be adding more and more clinical vignettes in this column soon. We will be adding some video based questions, some practical questions. A lot of things are being planned for you on the background. Okay, not only this, after you finish your question bank, after you finish your video lectures and your classes, you have understood everything by attending a real class with real people. Now you will have class test on your eMedicos app. This is how your class test platform will feel like, and so that you are not only studying, you are also testing yourself. This is the cycle of a second prof student that we now recommend. We have changed the subject order. We have added some subjects in your second prof in your pre-foundation course this year itself. We have added, more and more features to the students like a video library. We have added a feature like talking CRS. We have added a feature class test, question banks with clinical vignettes, and all this is included in your pre-foundation course when you join us for pre-foundation course. But do not forget, all this will start with your nodal point being the classroom. Do not ignore the classroom. Every year I see a lot of students who come back to me and telling me the impact their real live classroom made it for them. Now DAMS face-to-face and DAMS satellite classes are all live classes. These are all live classrooms where, in the face-to-face version, the teachers are going and teaching. In the satellite version, it's a video conferencing, but this is all live happening all the time. So you have that opportunity to ask doubts. You have that classroom environment around you telling you to work harder all time. So, that is the nodal point. That is the 80% contribution. And for the rest of the 20%, you have a plethora of resources with you in a module called as eMedicos. Now, this is what today we believe we are now offering. Not only are we offering you the live classes, we are offering a video library on the app, CRS with talking CRS on the app, and DQB, which is coming to you in a very interactive format in the app, as well as you have modules like custom test, where you can, after you finish your question bank, you can actually create your own test. With all this put together, you also have printed books and everything with you, so that you have the comfort of utilizing things at your ease.
Students, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Sanjeev. I'm faculty with DAMS. All of you have attended many of my classes. So I'm taking one short topic, and this topic is especially going to be useful for PG entrance exam people, those who are giving PG entrance exam. And in fact, there was a question on this even in this current JIPMER, and do expect these questions to come in all the exams that you're going to write. So I'm taking a very important topic, vacutainers. So what is this? In this topic, what are we discussing? Which are the vacutainers? What will be the content of them? And what are the uses of each one of those? And more important than that, one more thing they might ask you is, these are all technical questions. Once I collect the blood, how many times I have to mix this, or inversions, number of inversions that are required, that might come as a question. Or one more I would like to discuss is the order of vacutainer. If you have to take multiple samples of blood in different vacutainers, what should be the order? Is there any specific order? Answer is yes, there is a very specific order for that. So what are we going to do is we're going to make a table, and in the table I'm writing the vacutainers in order itself. So what am I doing is, my first part will be the order itself. What will be the order? Serial number 1, 2, 3. Then the second part will be the color of the cap that I'll be using, the cap color, or we call it vacutainer color. The third one is the uses of the vacutainer itself. And the fourth part I'll be writing is any special instructions that are required for us. So for that particular vacutainer. So if they are, right? So the first in the order that we are talking here is your culture bottle. Remember this, first thing, that if at all there was a culture to be taken, you have to take first. That will be the first one. Simple reason why, because you want it to be non-contaminated. That's the first sample that will be taking. So this is a culture bottle. That will be the first thing that will be taking. Of course, uses of culture bottle will be for culture, and even in that special instructions I am talking about now, in the culture bottle, if you had to take two cultures for two different organisms, so first you have to take aerobic, and then next you have to take for anaerobic. So remember this. So first you will be taking aerobic, and next will be the anaerobic. How much will you take? Roughly you will be taking, for adults, 8 to 10 ml of blood is required for culture bottle, and for pediatric you will be requiring around 1 to 3 ml. So for pediatric you take 1 to 3, and for adults you will be taking 8 to 10 ml. That's the first in order, culture bottle. The next thing that you will be taking is the the color itself is suggesting you, this is your sky blue colored vacutainer. Anybody, what do you remember? What is sky blue colored vacutainer? This contains sodium citrate. Trisodium citrate is the content of this. I have also shown the color of the cap here. Content is trisodium citrate. Now very important, where do we use this? Trisodium citrate is used for coagulation studies, basically your PTA, PTT, TT, all those things. So we use trisodium citrate for that. And then apart from that, INR studies, international normalized ratio studies, D dimer assay also is taken in this, the sky blue. Now very important is the ratio that we take for this. So that is why there will be always a mark available on your blue colored vacutainer, and you have to fill the blood exactly up to that mark. So very important, fill the blood up to that mark that is given in the vacutainer. And second, one more, inversions. How many inversion do I do? Around 3 to 4 inversions are required. So I just invert it 4 times. That is what we say. And why we are filling only up to this? Because it has to, you have to achieve a ratio of 1:9, and that is why we are filling up to the mark. So 1:9 ratio citrate is used for coagulation studies. Now the next one I am talking about is another one which contains citrate. Look at the vacutainer color here. I am showing it with a black color. So what is this black colored vacutainer? Actually, black colored is a new one that will be there. So this, do expect this question to come in exam now. So this black colored vacutainer also contains citrate. It also contains trisodium citrate. So I am writing Na citrate, Na sodium, sodium citrate. And where do we use this? We use this in ESR. If you remember, 1:9 is used for ratio of 1 citrate versus with 9 blood is used for coagulation, whereas 1 citrate and 4 is your blood is used for ESR. Especially which method? Westergren's method of ESR. We use citrate, and that is the black colored vacutainer. So one more thing they might give you, nowadays there are ready-made available ESR tubes itself. If you look at my video on your ESR, you will get to know about this. So there will be a black colored vacutainer with a ESR tube itself. So basically that can also be used for ESR. Next in order will be, so first was your culture bottle, second was your coagulation, that is the citrate sample. The third in order will be your red. So what does red contain? Red for red tube, red tube. Of course, one more thing, if at all you are using a plain vacutainer without any color, basically it is nothing, plain vacutainers can be used, that will be used before citrate if you want to use. So otherwise I am talking about now the red vacutainers. The red will be the serum tube. So what does it contain? Serum tubes contain powdered glass will be there. So the vacutainer will be coated with powdered glass. If you remember from your basic things, what is the role of this powdered glass? Powdered glass will induce, it is a contact activator and activates the clot formation. So once you activate the clot formation, that means there will be clot formation. Once clot formation happens, there will be serum separated. So that is what it is. Where do we use it? Of course, if you are separating serum, you will be using it for serology. That's one. Apart from that, you will be using it for indirect Coombs test as well. Where do we do indirect Coombs test? There was another video I had made on this indirect Coombs test and direct Coombs test. So indirect Coombs test is done one in cross matching. It is done in autoimmune hemolytic anemias. It's also done for RH isoimmunization in the mother, and there, that is what we do. Serum is required. So now very important is, if you are doing for a immune hemolytic, if you are testing for antibodies, you have to transport this at 37 degree. Very important. So you cannot freeze it, or you cannot make it even at room temperature also, because many antibodies will be active at 37 degrees. So that is why you want to transport it at 37 degree. That's a special instruction for red tube. Now after the red tube, what do we do? Next will be the golden colored tube. Golden colored tube is a polymer gel with powdered glass. So of course there is a powdered glass coating onto the vacutainer. Apart from that, there is a polymer gel also that is there. So this is the golden color, or some people call it yellow, better call it golden, not yellow itself, because there is another vacutainer which will be yellow in color. So this golden or polymer gel, so obviously this gel is a clot activator. That is what it is. So where do we use this? This is used for, basically it is, again you will get a serum out of this. So this is used for chemistry, serum chemistry. Apart from that, immunology which will include, if you wanted to do antibody test, you wanted to detect any antibodies, for all of them we need to, like for example, you want to detect anti-HBs antibodies, I would better take it in which, the gold one. Apart from that, serum iron studies, B12 studies, folic acid studies, all of them will be done in gold. Apart from that, yeah, I already told you bacterial and viral serology. I just explained you that if you wanted to detect antibodies against the hepatitis B virus, you will be using the same color, or antibodies against any bacteria or any virus, you will be using the same. That is the gold one. So now, any special okay, before that, the red one has to have a 5 to 6 inversion. Red tube will be 5 to 6 inversion, or you can just remember one number, the higher number. 4 inversions for blue, that is your citrate. 6 inversions for red. Now what about this? That is your gold also 6 inversions. So remember, gold serum is for 6 inversions. Next in order, what you will have to take. So we have discussed already. First you have to take culture bottle, second will be the ESR tube or citrate, basically ESR blue and the black ones. Then the third one was the red one, that is serum. The fourth one is gold, that is also for serum. Next in order will be, the next one that you will take in order will be the green tube. So what is this green tube? Sorry with the color has become is appearing a little bit black here. That's because of my background image is green, that is why it has filtered out that green. Yeah, sorry for that. So green tube contains sodium or lithium heparin. Sodium or lithium heparin. Now this green tube, and also actually for ease of remembering, I had written it with green color only. The problem is, the green is not visible. Everything that is green will appear black here. That is why. Yeah. So the green tube contains sodium or lithium heparin. So what do we use it for? Primarily for arterial blood gas analysis. That's the most important use of the green colored vacutainer. Next, apart from that, we can use this even for chemistry as well. So basically, yes, of course, you can use the gold or even red also for chemistry, but this is also one which can be used for chemistry. Apart from that, you can check the lithium levels. So very important, lithium toxicity that can happen. To detect that, you will be measuring lithium levels, but very important, they will ask this question: if you want to detect lithium, what is the anticoagulant of choice? It will not be lithium heparin. It has to be obviously sodium heparin, not lithium heparin. Now, how many times you should invert this? You should be inverting around 8 to 10 times. So you can remember it, 8. So we have 4, 6 and 8. Easy to remember. 4 is your coagulation, that is the citrate. Then 6 was your serum tubes, both the serum tubes, that is red as well as golden, 6 times. The green one, heparin, is 8 times. Next in order that we will be taking will be the lavender color. So what is this lavender color? Is EDTA tube. So lavender is EDTA, and where do we use this lavender? Lavender or EDTA colored vacutainer is used for routine hematology. So you want to do CBC, you want to do all hemoglobin, retic count, for everything you will be doing the lavender vacutainer. Apart from that, blood grouping, very important, blood grouping requires this. Apart from that, RH typing, of course, so blood grouping, RH typing, and even for lymphocyte markers. Say for example, you want to check what is the CD4 count in a HIV patient, you have to take it in this. Apart from that, of course, all the markers that we were talking about in hematology, for them, if you're doing in the blood, you have to take it in lavender. Now, so very, very important, how much you will take. Adult, you will take 4 ml. Pediatric, you will be taking half of it. And how many times you should be inverting the tube? 8 times. That is what it is. So 8 to 10 times. So you remember like this, 4, 6 and 8 are there. 4 is for blue, 6 is for serologies, that is both serum tubes, and 8 is for green as well as lavender shaped or lavender colored vacutainer, right? So let me just show you an image of this. This is the lavender colored vacutainer, or purple, whatever word is used in exam. Next vacutainer I am talking will be the yellow colored vacutainer. So this yellow should not be confused with the golden color. So I just want you to be very clear what is yellow. Yellow is different than the golden color. Of course, the color will almost look very similar, but however, yellow contains acid citrate dextrose, and this is used for HLA typing. That's the most important use. Apart from that, it can be used even for paternity testing. So they will ask this question, paternity testing, you use what? The yellow tube or the ACD tube. Apart from that, if you want to isolate DNA from the cells, so you will have to take this yellow tube. That will be the next in order. So very important, the last tube that you will be taking will be the gray tube. So they will ask this question also, which will be the first to take? Of course will be the culture, followed by your citrated sample. The last one will be the gray tube. So what is this gray tube? Contains oxalate. It will usually be a potassium oxalate with a sodium fluoride. Sodium fluoride function is, it is a glycolytic inhibitor. So it is used for blood glucose analysis. Apart from blood glucose analysis, even if you want to analyze alcohol, you will use this alcohol analysis, and also lactate. So very important, the last one to be taken will be the gray tube, right? Yes. So I hope all of you are clear with this, the order of taking and the uses of them, and also the content of them as well. So keep following us on this channel, so that you will end up having more and more videos. We'll be putting more and more videos, and you can follow me on my Facebook page also. Just search Sanjeev Chitragar. So you can search on my Facebook page. You can follow me there, and any queries you have, you can just post me there or below this as a comment, so that I can take few more videos regarding the same. Thank you.